Dan, thanks for having us back at Milturn.
You're welcome.
Today in Hinckley. Great to see you again.
Yeah, nice to see you again, Gio.
Things have changed drastically since I was here last. Tell us about your new investment.
Well, we've gone for a fully automated machine that will do pretty much everything from DMG MORI.
Well, it looks absolutely fabulous, the CTX Beta 1250 TC. Now, what were your main considerations when purchasing this machine?
We have a lot of components that we were doing in multiple operations, multiple setups, and want to reduce them down to as little as possible.
So can you give us a start on that then, really?
Yep.
We've looked at the optical casing for a leading optical supplier. How many operations were you doing it in previously?
Previously, it's six setups, 6 operations. There'll be 3 turn-in, 3 milling.
So that component was moved 6 times, set up 6 times.
That's correct.
Inspected 6 times.
That's correct. Well, 7 times. When it comes back from anodising, another.
So how many setups now, Dan?
1 setup now.
So effectively, talk us through it. How is this achieved?
So the billet is loaded into the main spindle via the robot. It does quite a lot of the operations at the main spindle, a lot of the tooling strategies, and then it's switched over to the second spindle. All the other operations are complete. Robot unloads it, puts it back on the tray.
So I've looked at the component and there's serious metal removal rates on that, and there's a lot of milling features on there too.
Yep, 6-sided machining. We've got little pockets being milled out, slots, a lot of thread milling. There's, I think, 3 or 4 different thread mill sizes in there, something that we've not been accustomed to in the past.
And when you looked to buy this machine, how did DMG MORI support you on your journey? Because it's a very complex machine, isn't it?
Yeah, we contacted them initially with just general interest, and they asked if we had a specific component in mind, and we took this particular component to them. There was a few discussions, and they suggested that they did a demonstration of the part in Bielefeld in Germany to see if it was all possible. They said it was, but they wanted to prove it out. That was then done. I was invited to go over to Germany and check the part being made and to see everything was within specification on the component.
So the support was second to none. Now,
brilliant.
Have you ever used a Milturn machine such as this, and what's the milling capability like?
No, I've not. We have some other machines that have got live tooling on lathes, like Y-axis lathes, but not a full Milturn machine. There is nothing we've found yet that we won't be able to make on here.
So you've not only saved setup time and reduced the operations, but now you're also running overnight.
Yeah, it's like I say, it's fully automated. We can set however many pieces will go on the pallet on the robot tray, and all being well, come in the next day and we've got a tray full of finished components.
And that
will also do that during the day as well.
Yeah, so you completely increased capacity effectively.
Yep.
And these are not the only components you've purchased the machine for. You're doing other complex work on the machine. How have you guys found it, like programming the machine? It's only been on site 8 weeks.
Yeah, it's been on site 8 weeks. All of the component we're machining now, we have actually programmed at the machine control. So there's a shop turn system on the machine, and with the help of the applications engineer from DMG MORI, we built the program for this part. We've had training on it, and Billy, the operator, has now built a few programs for other components as well.
I've just spoken to Danny about the considerations when buying this machine, but I just want to talk to you really, Billy, about the operational elements of the machine. How easy is it to use?
I found it quite easy. It's very user-friendly. It's like using a tablet. And I've worked mainly on Fanuc, and the transition to Siemens has been quite seamless.
So the programming of it is quite simplistic for the complex work that you're making. Is that safe to say?
Yeah, all the programming cycles are within the machine. So you're basically just telling it where you're starting, where you're finishing, and the path that you want to take.
So let's get into the capabilities then. HSK 63 tool holders,
Yep.
milling capability, swivelling head, main and second spindle. Tell us what this machine can do.
It's more about what it can't do, which is not a lot. It can do anything. We can do gear cutting, we can do 5-axis milling, simple milling, we can do turning at various angles with the tool. We have an increased flexibility so we can use different strategies. Yeah, it's a very capable machine.
So let's move on to some of the components that you're making. You're making the components behind you there, the optical casings with a lot of intricate milling features in them. We talked about that component previously, but do you also machine any harder materials too?
No, at the moment we're just on aluminium. I've been on similar machines and we've done Inconels, titaniums, even plastics. They can machine anything.
And the milling head, it's quite a compact milling head. You know, you've got 1,250 between the spindles. So how important is the compactness, if that's a word, of the milling head?
Well, it allows faster changing times, faster rapid rates, so you can move to the component quicker.
And better clearances, I assume,
yes.
And maybe even more capacity for larger components.
That's correct, yeah.
And the automation, you've got a bar feeder from Hydrofeed and you've got the robot from DMG MORI that have supplied their own automation solution. How important is the automation and how easy is that to set up and use?
The robot's really easy and it allows us to run the machine lights out. So basically you can run all night long and there's just no issues with it.
And with the racking system, or you know, how does that work?
So I can tell the robot I can even pick what parts I want to machine, and if we've got similar parts, I can say, right, I want to machine so many of this part, and then I can schedule it to machine a different part. So you can have up to 4 parts, I believe it is, running throughout the night. So you don't just have to run the one job.
So every element of the machine, are you quite happy with from an operational perspective?
Oh yeah, the machine's brilliant.
Billy, thank you very much. So there you have it, the DMG MORI, a machine that can machine anything.